Greetings and salutations, fellow guard owls. This is your host, Muertero Chris. It's been a long week and a half since I last made a video, so I've been kind of procrastinating because I was kind of up and down about what I was going to talk about, and I figured it's about time I just stopped procrastinating, so I'm just going to flow with it. And the first thing that comes to my mind that I would like to talk about is what can happen with somebody that enters working with La Santisima Muerte as opposed to somebody who goes to La Santisima Muerte as a means of last resort's help. So for those of you out there who are wanting to work with La Santisima Muerte as a means of elevating your spiritual poder or power, that's what we call poder, some of the things that can possibly happen depending on how good you treat La Santisima Muerte will depend on what type of gifts she will elevate that you are already born with, that are already within you. So for instance, we are all born with intuition. It's something that everybody has. And so for some people that get into working with La Santisima Muerte, they begin to want to dabble with tarot cards. In my experience, I was once told by another brujo that the reason why things went with me the way they did with her is because of how I treated La Santisima Muerte. So in the beginning with me, I really didn't have much when I began working with her. And so I would often sleep at the foot of the altar. So some would possibly say, well, that's a little bit of show of sacrifice in a sense. But being the fact that it's not so much a sacrifice that I had, it's just I really didn't have anything at the time. So I began to sleep at the foot of her altar. During the process of sleeping at the foot of her altar, I consistently found myself talking to her, praying to her, asking her to give me messages of what I should do with myself and my newfound life with her. The interesting thing with La Santisima Muerte is that she's very good about coming to all of us in our dreams. So when we dream of her, or when she comes to us in dreams, it's very important for us to try to remember the color of the robe that she came to us in. Disclaimer: La Santisima Muerte does not need colors when it comes to herself. La Santisima Muerte, or the energy personification of death itself, of what she actually is not like us with our fleshy minds. It is us who assigns colors to her because we need what we call focal points. Therefore, La Santisima Muerte La Negra, the black, would be for protection and possibly for hexing, depending on which way your path leads you to with her. La Santisima Muerte La Roja, the red, is more so for material possessions, love, keeping the family unit together. If you are having issues with, making ends meet and you need a little bit more financial assistance per se from the spiritual realm, she can help you with that. La Santisima Muerte La Blanca, the white, she is more of a more grandmotherly, and I want to say the curandera of her own personification in a sense. She will teach you a lot about hierbas. She will teach you a lot about tinctures. She will teach you a lot about meditation. She will even help you become very well versed in your own form of healing. This is not to go to say that you instantly become a curandero or a curandera with that title. Another disclaimer: one does not overnight become a curandero or curandera. It is a title and it is a form of training that you do have to go through apprenticeship. Know that. So getting back to what I was talking about, when you work with La Santisima Muerte in the sense of, okay, for me, I went to her for a particular issue in my life. I got the help that I needed. The end bargain was I would never turn my back on her and she would always be with me. However, I took it to another degree, unknowingly, that she would do more things with me. So I began to see triangles all over the place. I began to see triangles when I would close my eyes when I would try to sleep. I would see configurations of numbers, in particular, consistently having to count the numbers of license plates and bringing them down to one whole number. For a long time, I didn't know what the heck this meant. One day, it just clicked to me. Maybe these are like spiritual numbers and maybe I should Google this stuff, right? So I began to Google it and there it was. So depending on what number she would show me in the end, I would Google this and it came up as like angel numbers. I would type in the spiritual significance of such and such number and it would give me the meanings. Lo and behold, time after time, whatever was going on in my life at that very given moment was literally what was being told to me through my research. Bar none, every single time, it never failed. So these are the kind of elevations that you can experience with La Santisima Muerte that you also want to be looking out for. She's good with numbers. She communicates a lot through numbers. She almost, I want to say, has her own form of mathematics that lead into how she communicates. She will come to you in dreams. Another thing that can possibly happen with La Santisima Muerte that she will elevate some of your intuitive senses in is, I want to say, not so much psychic abilities. I, for one, yes, I do tarot guidance readings, but I do not deem myself a psychic. I personally do not like having that title as psychic. I am not an astrologer. But what I do is I allow La Santisima Muerte to work with me as a conduit and to help me guide my clients and patrons of La Santisima Muerte or people who want to learn about her in the messages that they need to know. So when you work with La Santisima Muerte in this sense, it's what now I want to go into what I like to refer to as the Orthodox colors of La Santisima Muerte, which are only three: white, red, and black. So I primarily work with her these days in black. La Santisima Muerte La Negra is who you want to begin to work with if you are wanting to work with elevating your intuitive senses and psychic abilities. I do have a warning for you though. You have to be very prepared for La Santisima Muerte. I wish I had teachers from the very beginning that warned me what could happen. Not so much what could happen, but what you're looking at what you're going to be facing. When La Santisima Muerte comes at you and starts elevating those senses in you, which we all have, we're all born with them, she can be very, very, very strong to the point to where it may drive you a little nutty, okay? I don't want to say that you're going to go insane. It's not like that, because you will definitely know if you're going insane or not. I would hope somebody would know if they're going insane or not. But just in the sense, it's like, you better be careful what you're asking for with La Santisima Muerte when you're asking her to elevate those things about you, your intuitive senses and your psychic ability senses, helping you with tarot card readings, because she's going to come very fast. She's going to come at you very strong. You're going to experience things. You will begin to see nature animals out and about a little more frequently. I, for one, tend to see a lot of butterflies more often in my life. I see the Texas buzzard vultures a lot more. I see birds in groups of 2 or 3 or 8 at moments, and it never fails in those numbers. And as of recently, it's been almost every day, possibly because of some of the things that I've been working with La Negra for. Another thing. So there was the owl that usually comes at the feet of La Santisima Muerte's statues. The owl represents wisdom. The owl represents messages. So For me, as patrons of La Santisima Muerte, devotees of La Santisima Muerte, those of us that want to start working with her or are already working with her through means of divination and asking her to help us with our elevating our psychic abilities, as I keep on saying, it's like we become her lechuzas, her owls. We become the ones that begin to give the messages. So for some people, like especially in like Mexica brujeria, Mexican witchcraft, or Aztec magic for that matter, the barn owl, which is a white owl, is more linked to, I want to say, the shape-shifting witch from human to animal. Whereas in with La Santisima Muerte, you get the great horned owl. The great horned owl, La Santisima Muerte, is actually her particular familiar. You really don't see the barn owl associated with La Santisima Muerte as you do see it with the shape-shifting brujos and brujas of Mexica brujeria. With La Santisima Muerte, you see the great horned owl. Why the great horned owl? I don't know. This is still kind of a mystery to myself, and I'm doing research on it. Nobody really knows how the great horned owl got attached to her in that sense. However, what I can say is, in my experience, I never saw a great horned owl for myself in San Antonio until I began working with her, and I saw them on 2 occasions. On both occasions, it was a message to me that someone around me was being very mischievous, was lying, and my intuitive abilities were picking up on it. So it was just confirmation. Because owls are known for being very observant, that's what the owl of La Santisima Muerte teaches us, is to be very observant, both night and day. Watch everything that's going on around you. Okay? So, with that said, that's basically what I had to talk about tonight, was what can possibly happen when you want to elevate your psychic abilities, your intuitive abilities with La Santisima Muerte's help. These are some of the things that can happen to you. You might experience a little bit of insomnia. You might experience even hearing her voice a little bit. I know, it sounds a little weird, but she'll know. Trust me, you will know. If she comes around you, you will also experience possible feeling a slight chill in the air. You may experience smelling roses out of nowhere, but you will also possibly experience feeling what they call a frog in the throat, or your throat kind of tightening up. But it's not very uncomfortable feel. But let's face it, these are kind of feelings that we usually get, like for instance, when we go to funerals and whatnot, because there is a death, of a loved one being at present. There's a lot of praying going on, there's crying going on. But when La Santisima Muerte comes around, there's usually no crying. It's kind of like a sigh of relief, like, yes, I'm going to get the help that I need. You're here. So for those of you out there that are going to want to start working with her, these are some of the physical things that you can possibly experience. At least from my experience, that's how it was for me. I'm going to go ahead and cut this video a little short right now because it's already getting late and I got a big day tomorrow. But I will be coming out with a few more videos to follow up with this particular video, and I'm planning on doing a video on the rosary and explaining different types of rosaries. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you later. Okay, guard owls? This is Muertero Chris, and have a good one. God bless you. Vale.